direction?
I started playing Persona, and then I got hooked.
So that's the life hack. Just don't play Overwatch and you rank up. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I ranked up to Diamond 1, and then you saw the screenshot.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, man. That's
it happens. Well, how's life been treating you? Tank as well.
Overall, like life, pretty good. I got Adderall. And I think you actually kind of
legally or illegally or
legally.
Okay.
legally.
Yeah, surely. Okay, good. Okay,
nice. That's helped with certain aspects, like in school, especially. We were just like focusing and getting things done like that.
All right.
Yeah.
And how's Tank?
It's Tank in Overwatch too. I will say I think my experience has been a little bit better than maybe some of the more vocal people.
Can I be honest? I think the vocal people are just vocal. So
yeah,
you have to take a little bit of what they say with a grain of salt. But yeah, keep going.
I think it's been a little bit better, but there have definitely been aspects of what they've been, vocalizing still in my games. With just like games where it's just like, okay, it's a loss from match load-in, where like, all right, I can't really do anything. We're just not on the optimal comp. Anything I try gets immediately countered and nothing works. Yep. Right. Yep. And then there's other games where it's just a complete stomp, and it's like, all right, well, I didn't really do anything, but we won. Or I did everything and we won, or I did everything and we lost, or I did nothing and I couldn't do anything. Yeah. I don't know. It's very weird.
Yeah. It's sometimes hard to have like an objective viewpoint on like where exactly the game was going and like what was my actual impact and what did my impact need to be and so on. So, yeah. Anyway. Okay. So you got a wall of text in your form here.
I yapped. I won't lie.
I like wall of text forms. I wake up in the middle of the night with wall of text dreams. It's just beautiful.
I wrote them in the middle of the night.
Oh, really? Okay, that explains. Yeah. My favorite part is people will fill out the form in the middle, and they'll be like, don't read the form. I was tilted when I filled it out. I love that. That happens sometimes. All right. Really I want the cat ears back in your profile picture. Tell you what, just for today's session. Wait, where is it? Freaking avatar decoration. I cannot tell you how much I dislike you. That's like not even the context of Overwatch, just period. So there you go. I'm gonna leave it on for our session today.
I'm a man of the people.
Yeah, you're something. I noticed that Tank a recurring issue of not knowing where to play a stage in a variety of maps: Paraíso, Numbani, Hollywood second, Colloseo second. Yeah, do you want to look at those maps in particular for Hero? Or have you moved past that? It's up to you.
Well, no, I mean, I wrote that like a few days ago, right? So it's still on my mind.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, I don't think I have a Colloseo map on.
It doesn't matter. We don't need a map. We do got a custom game. It's easy.
Right. Yeah.
We could
I mean,
we can jump in right now if you want.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Let's just do it right now. Okay. Let's. So you said Paraíso. Watch, it's gonna be one of your maps. Frick! Any of the Koth maps here? I'll just.
Samoa is one of them.
All right.
I think I've learned a couple things since I wrote that, but at the same time,
got it.
I don't know. My main character I've just been playing is Sigma.
This
honestly. Yeah, I mean, all three, honestly.
All three. Okay, what particular? So Sigma in particular.
Yeah, Sigma in particular, like especially like just the initial fight, I don't know where to take it exactly.
Yeah, gotcha.
Like,
so what I would do is obviously everyone's going to roll out here. I actually don't think this is too bad as Sigma because you do have cover and you have enough range to be able to pressure here. You can reach high grounds, and if you rotate to the opposite sideline, you can also control this angle here. So I think Sigma, it's relatively simple. I think you anchor on either one of these corners, poke main, control an angle, or poke main, control an angle. I think that's kind of what you want to be doing. If you're playing a character more like, I'm trying to look at your full hero, but what else are you playing here besides Sigma, or is it really just Sigma?
Sigma's the most. I mean, I can just send a screenshot of my hero.
If you're just playing Sigma on this map, then that's all we really need to talk about.
Well, yeah, but honestly, I switched it more for the comp recently than the map.
Okay.
Like,
Diva, Zarya. Oh yeah, Diva would be brutal here. Diva, honestly.
I don't play Diva here.
Yeah. Okay. So Zarya will be the same as Sigma, frankly, pretty much the same. You might be able to like brute force a rotation through all the way through left side, like through here. depending on like your bubble usage and the comp that they're running. That's a possibility as well. Junker Queen. So Junker Queen is going to be tricky. Junker Queen, I don't find crossing this area reasonable unless they all rotate high ground. So you're oftentimes going to be doing a lot of what Sigma's doing, but just like short pushes, and then maybe like looking to control here and push here and poke and push here. Because if you think about it, your poke like at this range is pretty good with JQ, right? You just don't peek this long. Don't peek the high ground. Don't necessarily peek this long angle if you're not at least on top of it, all right?
Yeah,
so it's going to be a lot of like really short jabs, for lack of a better term. Reinhardt, relatively similar. Let's do this here. I'm not going to roll the RNG dice, so I'm not going to waste your time. I really want to, but I'm not going to. We'll do first. I love, like, keep gambling, but I've done it before where I've restarted. Like, literally one time I had it 16 times, and it wasn't the right mode. So I really don't want to make you have to deal with that. So beach here is pretty simple. I mean, you could probably guess where we're going to roll out. Everyone does it. It's the easy one. It's also the correct one. The bridge is good. Now, for Sigma, you might not be able to brute force the bridge, right? You might go either on JQ.
I've run into that.
Yeah. Now, if they give you the space, this is really good, right? But if they're running Ryan Ram, something like that, that's also contesting the high ground, you obviously can't play in that effective range. So what I would do is I wouldn't give up the bridge entirely. I would hold a corner like this here. Poke, poke, and just maintain. So if they do push you, okay, but there's a little bit of time where they're going to be taking damage during that rotation. All right. Now, if you get, and then you can also poke from this range as well here. Now, as you guys, like, let's say you guys win the fight, okay, then you're going to be holding here. You're going to be holding here. Okay. And then if you're retaking, it's going to be something similar where it's like you kind of want to poke out from here, maybe take an angle, poke out from here, and slowly walk your way back out. JQ, Ram, Ryan, anything else, you got two choices. You're either really holding this corner here or you're hard stuffing here. I don't love hard stuffing here because you can get angled from multiple different sides. It can be a little tricky, but it is a possibility. You could also hold here. And if your team is super, super aggressive, holding inside is not the end of the world either for any of those tanks we talked about.
Right, okay.
You notice like constant theme here. No, go ahead.
No, yeah, it was a question for downtown specifically. Like after the neutral fight, like on the, I guess it doesn't really matter if we lose the fight or win the fight because it's mirrored, right? Where do you play after that?
So the one we just looked at?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find it. If this might be Volcano. Do you still have questions about Volcano?
A little bit.
Perfect.
I gravitate more towards like the left side on Volcano.
So you're saying, what do I do if I win the fight on downtown?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, because I was watching a super VOD, like actually watching it, not just laughing at him. And he was into a hog on Sigma, and he would win the fight pretty commonly, and then he'd just give space on point.
Yes.
And I didn't entirely understand that.
So the reason why you do that is you generally, like, Sigma is fairly flexible in terms of positioning, right? As opposed to a character like Winston that has like a little bit more demand. So what you do is you cave to the demands of your team. Like if I'm playing Cassidy, all right, or Ashe, I really don't want my Sigma stuffing here because that's going to keep the backline where?
You mean like their sight lines would be
where the enemy team. Like if I'm holding here as Sigma, backline's gonna be here, right?
Okay.
Right? My backline doesn't like that. They don't have any angles in that position. So what you do is you let them walk to here, right? Because what kind of map control do you have on them now? Well, you're shooting from here. You might be shooting from here. You might be shooting from here. You might be shooting from here, and you're probably shooting from behind as well. You see that?
All right.
So what it does is it increases your defender's advantage by letting them come in a little bit closer.
All right.
Now, the really simple way of doing that without overcomplicating it is you don't even have to think about it that way. All you need to do... Okay, Ashe is here. Okay, so I'm going to give him a little space of play here. Oh, Cassie's pushing there? Okay, let's walk forward. You got me?
Yeah, all right, I see.
Just turn around. Let your teammates make their own decisions, you know? Like, let them make the decision. If they make a bad decision, they give up a lot. Like, let's say, like, I've done this sometimes where, like, my backline refuses to budge from this spot. Guess what? You don't hold here. You go all the way back here, and you hold here. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, all right.
Let's say my soldier refuses to rotate from this high ground to this high ground. That's all right. I'll hold back here. Wait, why is my soldier flanking over here? Okay, well, we're here.
Right, okay.
You get me? So just be flexible. Be flexible whenever you can on tank, but especially if you're playing a tank like Sigma, whose really only requirement is some form of cover, right? You're pretty flexible with that. And then that's just basically how it goes. Now, if you were thinking purely selfishly with Sigma, probably somewhere like this, where it's like just in your spam range, really good cover, could deny 2 angles simultaneously. That's kind of like what you'd want to do.
Right. Okay.
Now we'll take super quick look at Volcano, because you probably have a similar issue with like, oh, first fight, pretty simple, right? Everyone knows what to do. What do you do when you win the fight? What do you do when you lose the fight?
Right.
Let's go. What do we want here? Polygon. So, first thing, if you ever spawn camped, if you ever held close here with Sigma, create distance, roll out here. Create distance, roll through here. Find some sort of a range that you can poke them out on. And actually, an even better rollout if they're holding here is to go to this side here. And then you can get a lot of good pressure from this angle here. Again, it's like playing your effective range, right? What's the best spot for me to have cover and play my effective range, okay?
All right.
First fight rollout, everyone rolls in here. It's going to be the same kind of thing, though, where you have to ask yourself, do I have the range, am I like a short range enough to be able to brute force it in here and take the trade here?
Yeah.
If not, you got options. You can either play slow here. You can angle from here with Sigma. You can actually change your rollout entirely if you think they might roll out in something brawly, and actually roll out this way in Sigma. You see how this creates a little bit of distance?
I've done that a few times.
Right? It creates a few extra meters, right? Could be very, very useful, right? This could also be pretty good on brawl tanks because you allow yourself to kind of like clear off this high ground and then push them, right?
Yeah.
And then when you're retaking, similar idea, but when you're holding, again, you just need to look at where's my team position. Are we utilizing these angles here all the way on the opposite side of the wall? Are we utilizing the angles here, in which case maybe I hold this corner here. Maybe I hold this corner here, right? Maybe I hold this corner here. You got me? If we're utilizing this high ground here, or here, or here, where do you think I should hold?
For utilizing those high grounds,
we're fighting on point. Where do you go?
Yeah, we're fighting on point. Just like a corner outside of point, maybe?
Sure.
Like,
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, like right here.
Yeah, it could be there.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah,
You've got options, right? It's there's not like a really clear answer, but that also means that as long as you have the general idea, it's good enough, right? I see a lot of people will make the mistake of doing kind of what we talked about in the previous map, where they're going to try and stuff this corner, but their backline's over here, and the backline's over here or here. Why is that a problem?
Because nobody's getting angles.
Right. I'm fighting here.
At that point, you're peaking 5.
Right. I'm fighting here, but my teammates can't even see that spot. Right. So I need to give up space to here. They walk into space. Now I'm getting help. Right. And again, you don't have to make the decision about where you're fighting necessarily. You just need to find out where's my backline, finding where's the best spot for me. Right. Now, if I'm playing Ryan, it's tricky. Like, I might want to hold here anyway. But if I'm holding Ryan, maybe I'm even going to like let them walk in all the way to here.
Right. Then try and get a pin or something like that.
Let them walk into your, like, basically you're setting up, like, Ingles set up a trap. So if your team is setting up to set up a trap here, even if it's just one angle, right? There you go. That dictates where you hold. Go ahead. You were saying something.
Yeah. So if my backline isn't taking any off angles, do I take the off angle myself?
Sure, you can, as long as the off angle is favorable to you, right? I would never take an angle like this necessarily as like a Sigma. If they're playing like a Ryan, I might get pushed too hard, right? I might take a more distance angle. But yeah, you can absolutely take a solo off angle here. Like if I'm playing JQ, Ram, Ryan, this is a pretty good spot here if my backline's all grouped up right there, right? They can see me, I can see them. They have to choose me or them. If they all focus me, they're basically turning their cheeks to the enemy. To my backline, it's not good. Not good. Okay. Let's keep going here. Was it any of the escorts?
Dorado, I guess. I don't think I wrote that down, but I think I asked about it earlier.
Sure. Which point?
Second's kind of weird, I guess. Because, like, second, it feels like it should work for dive, just to, like, constantly controlling high ground. But I've noticed, like, especially, like, playing Genji on DPS or Winston, I just get outranged. Like, they're too far to dive.
Sure.
Or they hold the height too much.
So you're talking about defense or attack?
Attack, I guess.
Got
it. Like I'll contest high ground, especially like as a monkey. And I'll just get forced out.
Yeah, because your backline's down here.
Yeah, because my backline's down there. It is jumping up like that and trying to like do something stupid or like
it's not. It's just not something that you can do with 100% uptime, right?
Right.
You will
Okay.
find an opportunity to take the high ground, but to use the term take as a verb, I think is inaccurate. You're contesting the high ground during a moment of vulnerability. Like you'll say your guys are walking or pushing cart, you jump high ground for 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 seconds, just to force cooldowns, to bait attention, so that your team can safely push cart or rotate or take angles. You can't stay up there 100% because you're right. You're going to have real problems with range. You're going to get poked out easily. Even if you have a Genji to follow you up, well, Ana can't fly. So she can't take the space that you're giving her. All you're doing is you're getting cart presence. And that even impacts how and where you jump. So you talked about the range being a big problem. Well, you shouldn't be jumping from here or here unless they're right there. If they're all the way over there, how do you stage?
It's a good question. Maybe you can go right side?
You can.
Or left?
You need even easier thing. You ready for this one? This is brilliant. Watch this.
What's that? Yeah.
You just go underneath because one of the ways that Dorado is kind of balanced, it's not really a great map, but in the way that's currently kind of sort of balanced, is that the high ground can't shoot underneath the high ground. So you have ways to engage and close the distance really without taking too much damage. Now you're like, oh, well, what if they're all the way over there? Okay, if they're all the way over there, that means that you guys have pushed the cart all the way to here. In which case, you can then utilize this high ground, and then you can sneak up here, or then maybe you can go all the way around from right, or look to stage from taking up from here, and then maybe you take the top left. It gets a little bit hairier in the back section, but the front section is basically just contest high ground for short periods of time, try to avoid taking too much damage, pressure them for a period of time, and then disengage and rinse and repeat. A lot of Dorado second is a lot of just cart push and brief windows of contesting high ground. Very rarely will you just take the high ground away. It just doesn't work like that. The defender advantage is too strong.
Okay, I got you.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it does there. Okay. I'm assuming it's similar for first point as well, where it's like
yes, it is
contesting.
It is correct. You're not going to really clear the high ground unless your team all the way rotates to high ground, which is very rare and very difficult. It's going to be brief moments of pressure, hiding, pushing cart. Brief moments of pressure, hiding and forcing cart, finding a ways to eventually force them into the choke. Okay. Next map. I know Paraíso was one. Go ahead.
Paraíso, also Blizzard World second, just kind of melts my brain sometimes. Yeah, I know height's important, but at the same time,
it's the same Dorado problem.
It's like same Dorado problem, but also also first point kind of weirds me out too. Like attacking, like like there's like 3 different ways to go. Man, any tank at this point. Let's just go with Sigma again.
Sigma, you cannot push the top right unless there are not many people up there or they are very fragile. Any brawl tank, team? No. Because think about it this way: if there's a brawl tank up here, you're dead. It's over. You're going to hate yourself walking into a Ryan, Ram, Orisa, any sort of spam going through this choke here. It's too small of a choke. Because you're like, oh, we need to clear high ground because why? Defender's advantage, right?
Yeah.
So let's clear high ground by walking through the choke, the size of, a toothpick. Okay.
Right. Sometimes even less with a cart in it.
Right. It's even worse, right? It's even a nastier defender's advantage. So I only really recommend clearing high ground if the choke advantage is not big enough for the fact that you're running Ryan and they're running Sigma and you're just going to go run through them with a May wall or something like that, right? Clearing high ground is good. It's just situational. Are you really comfortable taking that up close fight? And if the answer is yes, then yes, clear high ground. Now, Sigma, the answer probably not good. Well, that's the thing. With Sigma, you have a really good trade opportunity right in this corner right here. And you're like, oh, I'm going to poke from here. Ready for this?
Yeah.
Right?
The other side of the
All of a sudden, now I can poke and pressure high ground, contest and control high ground. And again, you see that it's similar to the Dorado example where I might not be able to clear the high ground, but I can keep them busy. I can create opportunities for myself and my team, right? Now, if I'm running a hyper-mobile tank, like Winston, again, I know I'm not going to clear the high ground, but I can jump it, bubble, contest, force some CDs, drop and hide. A little bit risky, you got to be careful, but it's something you can do. If I'm playing a hyper-mobile tank like Diva or Wrecking Ball, maybe I'll roll, force them to point, force them to fall back, and then retake the high ground for my team afterwards, right? There are situations where you can rotate to point when they're on high ground as well. Like maybe if I'm running a Reinhardt and they're also running like a Ram or something that I'm not I don't really want to walk up there, so I might just pin to point and hold shield, right? Yeah. Force somebody to come back on me, either pin back or push them, whatever. But you got to ask yourself, can I contest high ground directly, or do I pull them off of high ground with distractions elsewhere?
Yeah, I guess there is enough cover to hold them off high ground.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. Second point is again similar. It's like we're like really, because you guys, and this is how payload is balanced, is the fact that you have one fewer person to push high ground because somebody has to push cart, but also at some point they have to drop to contest the payload. And so if you guys can contest the high ground, get the payload to here, like the cart is going to keep pushing here. Like this is really awkward for them to spam down on cart, and eventually they're going to have to drop. So what I like to look at it is, can you push high ground, or is it too far, or are they too far away? And if you are going to push high ground, okay, well then how long can you stay here before you have to drop, before you get poked out? Like if I'm playing Ryan and they're all on high ground here, and I got somebody on cart, I'm not going to like pin across the map and reach the Widow. Like, I mean, maybe, but like it may or may not happen, right? In that case, maybe my best option is just to stay in cart and just force them to come to me, right? Because I don't take a lot of damage, right?
Right.
And then go ahead.
No, yeah, I have a code where I was playing Monkey, and they just had Brig, and I could not get on height ever.
Yeah,
yeah. It was
that
rough.
one was maybe more about like how you're approaching the jump, but I mean it's going to be similar.
Well,
like where a lot of it is going to be your backline's probably going to be poking and prodding high ground constantly, but may never actually take it.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, that's going to be that's also Paraíso, by the way.
Paraíso, yeah. Okay. Paraíso first, bro. I do not know how to take this because like
attack.
Attack first.
What tank?
Like Monkey, for one. Also Sigma, I guess. But
Monkey is lethal early first. This spot here is a playground. Because you can stage from really wherever you want. You can even wrap from here, trade. It's really hard for you to die. The backline that's a far away over here doesn't really have a good angle on you. The problem is always the second half of Paraíso.
Yeah. This is the problem area.
Okay, so you've got a couple of options. First off, make sure there's nobody here. Unless it's like a Roadhog that you just can't dislodge. Your backline should have every single angle possible. No squishies should be here, right? All the squishies should be over here. When they're all over here, that means that your backline can take this angle or go underneath. Like there's all sorts of positions. So then you can go for the contest. So your choices here are really, really, really simple. Either you're going to just take a direct kamikaze dive. You're in or you're out. It's it. You either get the kill or you don't. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Very high risk, high reward. Your other option here, you can do jumps like this here, like jump this way. And I like this because it allows you to tuck into cover this way.
Right.
Okay. You can also set up a flank and approach the same thing, but coming from this side as well, if you have the time.
Right.
That's pretty much it. Those are your options. Good luck. There's nothing else there. That's all there is.
That fits.
That's it. Now, I will say, though, I do really, really recommend looking for opportunities to jump on this side of the map if you can.
Okay.
Whereas this side of the map is much more high risk, high reward. Because anybody's here who gets jumped usually dies. But you usually die too.
Right.
So it's like, it's up to you. If there's a Torbjorn here with Overload and an Harmony Orb, probably not going to jump him,
No Megalol.
Yeah. Right, not happening. But if you jump here, probably a chance that you could stay here for a little bit and go from there. But yeah, okay. Makes sense?
All right. Yeah, what about Sig here then?
Sig, I mean, you're going to clear high ground again. Obviously, high ground's going to be a little bit slower. You're going to need to poke and prod a little bit here. Maybe you're going to need to rotate this way. Yeah. Poke and prod this way. Poke and prod this way. This is going to be probably a good angle. If you really can't dislodge them, you can rotate this way and poke and prod this way with your backline underneath, like this here. You see this? Again, creating that angle. Like you're always, basically you need to know, what is this character effective at? A little bit of medium range poke. Okay, so then where's the best place for me to do that? Okay. Then from here, you're like, all right, medium range poke. Frick.
Yeah.
Right? It's just not quite long enough, right? So what you do is, first off, you make sure, again, there's nobody here. Really, nobody should be here, period, okay? And then from here, there should be nobody here, okay? If the Torbjorn backs all the way up to here, that's fine, but he shouldn't be there. Then from here, you've got some choices. You can also try to reach this side. Or you can simply do what a lot of Sigmas do, and they'll start to just walk here, and they'll really hug the wall here, and then you just stand in the open. But it's not as bad if you've cleared this, right? Or if you've cleared this, then at least you can kind of contain everything that's shooting me is kind of on my screen. Yeah. Now there are some things that you could do, like little tricks that you can do. You can, again, if you have the time, rotating through right. Generally not something you'd want to do with Sigma all the time, but if you can get here, it is really, really good if you can get a support with you. Like really, really good. It's really hard for them to dislodge. You can just basically clear off the high ground for free. The other thing you could do here is if you like, depending on the comp, like if you manage your shield and your shift, you can like rotate to here. And kind of just play underneath them and poke out and like cycle your resources. It's not a bad decision to do. And the other thing that you can do if you're really feeling a little spicy is you can go here, poke, drop, and immediately start the rotation up the stairs this way. And again, that's just kind of creating a little bit of cover and without as long of a rotation all the way around behind. But you got some options, and as always, a lot of it just depends on like how is the enemy team set up. And I think if you kind of like run through these options next time you play Paraíso, pull up the replay code if you struggle on first point, and kind of like remember what we talked about. Try to see if you can problem solve what would have been the better approach with what they were given, because there's always a solution. It might not be a good option, but it's at least an okay option.
Right. Okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any map specific questions besides that?
Midtown second.
Okay, Midtown second. Let's wait, no, I don't want to do this.
Actually, even Midtown first, I guess a little bit. Midtown first is kind of weird to me, just with if especially like Sigma. I've even seen it with Hog. It's just a bunch of tanks where you just kind of walk past them, past the
first
fire
or
truck.
second.
First.
It's attack.
Yeah,
defense, sorry.
Attack first.
Got it. Okay, sorry. Sigma, you said.
So yeah, where you just kind of like walk in front of them and just cross the point, like
you can. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, you're very good at trading here, right?
Right.
If they back all the way up to fire truck or they back all the way up to here and you can't see them anymore, you just deepen. You just keep rotating. You rotate to here, right? And you keep poking.
Right.
And then you rotate to here and you keep poking and prodding. And then if they off angle you here, you hide from them here and you poke them there. Or if they're off angling you here, you can hide and poke them here. Like Sigma's pretty good at breaking this choke. Now, if they are stuffing you really, really, really hard, again, it's not too difficult to deal with. You just need to swing even further back, like here, and poke. Like you see this here, right?
Yeah.
Force them to, force a little bit of Rhine Shield, force the May block, whatever. Then you start the rotation here. Sigma's actually pretty darn strong on first point. Might be the most comfortable, at least most consistent tank at breaking this first point choke, just because it is a little bit more open, but there are a lot of rotations that you can make, right? A lot of shorts. So that would be my recommendation. Now, second's a little bit more awkward. It's going to be kind of similar in terms of poking and prodding and creating a space. And then when you get to about here and they're all on high ground, you can poke and prod high ground. And this is where you have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Do we have enough advantage? Do we have enough ultimates for me to push high ground? Because the problem with pushing high ground with Sigma is this is not your effective range.
It really isn't. I blow up so much here.
So you have to choose. I think it's good to push high ground if you have the ultimates and the cooldown advantage to do it. Like if you've forced a lot of Rhine Shield, you have Flux, I think forcing high ground with that would be really good. So like you could get to here, Flux their push, slam them down, and now they're really not in a position to punish you anymore.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like it's still good to force. Like let's put it this way: Sigma has a brawl advantage if you have Flux, right?
Yeah.
If you have Flux, or if like let's say you have beat and they don't, or something along those lines. The worst case scenario, if you really don't have anything, again, Sigma is slow, but Sigma is really, 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 really resource light. You can just push card and push card and push card and push card and push card. And yeah, if they drop, you'll have to back up. If you get isolated from your backline might die, you might die, but you're gonna get the card all the way to here, and you're gonna put it in one fight territory. Right? It's very similar to a lot of the payload maps where sometimes if you can't contest the high ground because it's too congested or too open, you can just force cart.
I like that. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah, you force a cart is just one. Ironically, I think Escort is the map that people think the least about, like objective, because it's not like Flashpoint or Push. But in many ways, I actually think Escort has in Hybrid have the most objective based gameplay out of all of the game modes. You can actually win like 3 fights and win a game, just based off of like how you play the objective depending on the situation. But yeah, okay. Yeah. Any questions with the defense?
With defense, I guess. Maybe I can't think of anything at the moment.
Okay, sure. Any other map stuff?
Okay, I got a couple problem maps here. Numbani and New Queen Street.
That's right, Numbani, New Queen Street. Okay.
Numbani. I mean, I remember what you said in the Discord messages. Just kind of like go in and pray. Like,
Yeah. Okay, well, I think a lot of it does depend on the hero you're playing as well. So, attacking and defense, and which tank?
attack. Monkey.
Monkey. Okay. Depends almost exclusively on where their backline is positioned.
All right.
What's your goal with Monkey?
Disrupt, I guess.
Sure. What targets are you looking for?
Probably supports.
Right. What range?
Most
What range do you want to play optimally?
What do you mean? Like
Short
like
range, right?
diving range or like,
yeah,
zap
right.
range? Like
Yeah, pretty much, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And it does little damage as possible on entry. Okay.
Yeah.
Good angle.
Really
good angle here, right? You'll need a little bit of scouting. But I love this angle if the backline is where?
Specifically above that relax and unwind thing. That top high ground there.
Yeah. But there's a better engage onto that high ground from here. Why?
Right. It's closer.
Easier. Slightly more cover. It's just a little bit more unpredictable. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then when would you go underneath here?
When they're sitting top, like directly above you right here? Or
that's it. Yep, that's it. Yeah. 100%. You got it. Because if you come from this angle here, it's not bad, but they can see you coming.
Yeah. They
right?
see you coming, cast.
In addition,
twice, and all your armor's gone.
This isn't the worst option either. It is a different option, but you can get poked out. You do have the mega here. But yeah, I really like this engage from underneath when they're coming here. Numbani, a lot of the times, unless they're all on this high ground here, where you can like jump, soft pressure, drop, and jump again, it is a little bit of like really kind of just praying. If you can disengage, it's very similar to Power Right ESO, where there's, I would say, a decent chunk of your engages are going to be pretty much all in, depending on their setups. There are situations, like for example, if they are above you, this is probably the best engage they can possibly give you. If they're all above you, you just jump here, or if there's nobody like really threatening over there, right? Just jump here, cleave, and drop. That's like your perfect Winston engage if you can get it, okay? But if they're split, you're gonna like poke and prod, maybe drop, maybe disengage, rinse and repeat. But I would say anything that's basically jumping over here is pretty much all in.
Right. Okay. It's the body's so annoying for me specifically because like whenever I jump in and like I bubble, I swear to God my bubble breaks in half a second.
Yep.
And then I just die immediately and it feels like nothing happened. Like it feels like I just inted, honestly. Like and you know, maybe some of them were ints for sure, but
that's fine.
I've also picked up Diva a bit more since I last messaged you, I think.
Sure.
I've seen some success with playing her. Honestly, kind of like a tracer. Like, Like I noticed, like I've been learning tracer a bit in my spare time, just watching PGE because really that's smart. And and I've noticed my Diva play actually got significantly better, where like I wasn't dying immediately all the time.
Yeah, creativity of how you're approaching fights, taking angles here and there. You don't quite have the same mobility, so you can't take generally quite as deep angles all the time. But yeah, absolutely.
Right.
The way I look at Diva is
DM matrix, all that.
Yeah, exactly. The way I look at Diva is like a Winston with more uptime but less value. So like, you look at the exact same, I'd still approach many of these fights the exact same way as I would with Winston as Diva, but you just wouldn't be able to do as much. You could be there more frequently, but you just wouldn't be able to do as much. That's all.
Right.
Okay. Any other map questions here? I'm enjoying these.
How do you stop the stagger on defense second?
You don't.
Like this,
you don't.
Okay.
One of the things, if you're one thing that can help a lot with defense second, I think the evolution of the map has helped a little bit here, is if you have a tank that can hold this corner here, like let's say Sigma, any sort of brawl tank, poke tank, whatever. I really, really like, or even if you can take an early fight, like if you can get your Winston on this high ground here and like kind of spawn camp, I really like taking an early fight in second. I really think it's important if you can. Depends, obviously, again, kind of talk about with Samoa, where's my backline set up? If my backline's like all the way over here, well, you're playing for one fight. But if you could take a really early fight to like stop the payload on this corner, you will be able to get a comfortable recontest from high ground. That helps a lot with the snowball because there's just going to be a messy fight on second at some point. So at least you get 2 of them.
The snowball in Numbani is so common. Honestly,
it's a map design problem. It's and it is on the cutting block, I believe, for the next couple of reworks, and rightfully so. But in the meantime, taking an early fight corner here or even high ground here, like just playing risk, right? Just playing more aggressive, and then playing around that can be useful.
All right. Yeah. I guess that's all I got for Numbani.
New Queen Street, correct?
Yeah, New Queen Street, and then the last one I can think of at the moment is Colloseo.
Got it. Well, let's just do Colloseo because why not?
All right.
It's first one in the order there.
Yeah. Specifically, I haven't gotten Colloseo so many times since the glass was removed. Thanks, by the way.
You're welcome.
And but specifically, it's like the fight afterwards. Like I don't know where to
like this fight here.
Yeah, this fight. Yeah, it's like Sigma,
so
Doomfist, like.
So it's this is going to sound like a broken record. It's Dorado Blizzard World all over again. You cannot directly contest their high ground consistently, but you can do it for cycles,
right?
And you can force guard. I know that's thrilling gameplay, right? So with a character like Doomfist, forcing cart not all that good, but what you can do is you can slam top, punch top, block, drop.
Block, drop. Yeah.
Right. Rinse and repeat. Where's the best staging? Do I want to stage from here? Do I want to stage from here? Can I punch underneath and then use this like Winston? Remember the Dorado second and use that as a sneak away to stage from behind here. With Sigma, do I want to poke top, spam top, poke pressure, maybe look to push if I have flux. Maybe I'll even flux and take high ground. But at some point, you're probably going to need to drop because somebody has to push cart. It's not just because somebody has to push cart, but because whoever's pushing cart is just in a really crappy spot. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like somebody's got to push cards, so somebody's not taking an off angle, right? So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of the way the pros play this is that they'll kind of park the cart here and play it really patiently, maybe try to ease the robot out. Because remember, for the enemy team to stop robot with a physical presence, they also have to put themselves in a bad spot. So really,
I'd argue that spot's better on defense, no? Because you got the height behind you.
Yeah, it is better. It is absolutely better. There's definitely a defender's advantage here, but it is so much that generally they can't infinitely stop card. If you're really cautious and cover and you can force a little bit of card, okay, I need a resource. You can force a little card to resource. And eventually the robot, as you're probably seeing here, is going to get to a spot where it's difficult to contest. It's difficult to poke down. And yes, we still have the problem of like this area is still pretty naked too, but it's a lot better than it used to be, right? So I would say the answer is, again, the same. It's cycle forcing pressure on top, cycle forcing cart, and just be patient. It is a massive defender's advantage. I agree with you, but those are your best options.
All right. I guess one more question. How does this work for a poke DPS? Like your cast or your soldier?
On attack here, like pushing up.
Specifically somebody with no real good vertical mobility.
You just take an angle and poke. You just take an angle and poke. Yeah, you just take an angle and poke. You will see sometimes, like, for example, a soldier, the best option in these situations is usually this hard flank through here.
Right.
And you'll see this even at pro level, right? Occasionally run the high risk, high reward stuff here. But a lot of it is just making sure that whoever's trying, like, allow my tank to shoot cart by shooting whoever's contesting cart, or at least trading the high ground. Not dying, taking a 50-50 trade, something along those lines.
Right. Okay.
It's not great. It's not great, though. Yeah. It's not great.
Yeah, because I've been, like, pressured directly from like the enemy height, and I just feel like powerless. I feel like maybe it's my bad for like positioning bad. Like
Well, one thing you can do is limit the number of angles that they can use to shoot on you. So if I'm playing Sigma here, I really don't want to push cart like this. I want to push cart like this, right? Or even I want to push cart like this, right? Like I want something on my side. Like I want a firm wall on my left or on my right. So at least I'm just like, okay, they can spam me from here, but at least I'm not getting shot from here and here. And it's awful, right? Try to limit the number of directions they can spam you from.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
New Queen Street?
Yeah, New Queen Street.
Yep.
First fight feels so weird.
Yeah, a lot of this is just like respecting defenders' advantages and finding ways to where like, okay, there isn't anything that's going to make you feel like, oh, I have a major advantage, but at least this is what you can work on while you're struggling at a disadvantage.
Right.
Okay, so first fight, you said?
Yeah. I don't really play Sigma too much here.
What do you play?
This is where I kind of go to the Zarya.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or like, or I don't really play dive.
Sure.
It's either Zarya maybe Hog if he's meta, right? And then
Sure.
and then I think Sigma actually.
Sure. So major issue that a lot of people fall into, and you probably deal with this all the time, is that people don't roll out high ground. They'll go straight to cart. The reason why this is an issue is because what range does Zarya want to play in?
Very close.
Very close, right? So I can't reach high ground. I can't reach people here. I can't reach people back there, and I can't reach people on this high ground here either. All I can do is shoot anybody that's here. So what you need to do is you need to roll out high ground yourself if you can, so that then I can then walk to statue, and now I can really reach anybody that I want to. I can push top, I can push cart, I can push this background high ground, and if they all run away, okay, that's fine, but at least I can then take that angle and actually start to pressure people. I really recommend clearing high ground whenever you can. In fact, the only time you wouldn't want to clear high ground is if you're running something like the Winston, and they go top, and you're like, okay, there's no verticality to play around. I need to avoid it and play around where there's verticality, right? Make them come to me. I jump over their heads and, drop on behind. But I would really recommend trying to Sigma, Ryan, Ram, Zarya, control high. Now, if they roll out high too, if I'm playing Zarya into Ryan, how would I approach this fight here?
Yeah, if you're in a disadvantage,
like brawl disadvantage, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I just swap at that point.
Right, but first fight, you're stuck. You're here. How do you win this
fight?
fight?
You're stuck.
What is your advantage over right? Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, right, exactly. Just play it from range. Like just hold the corner here. Range, poke, whittle him down. Eventually he's probably gonna drop the robot. Okay, then now I can take it away and now I can wrap around him, or I can just kind of poke him down, burn his shield down.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, really try to utilize this high ground and be really disciplined with your cover. Again, it's just about limiting the number of angles that can shoot you that you can't return fire from. If I'm here, I can get shot by their high ground, but I can also return fire. I can get shot by high ground, but I can return fire. I can get shot from the floor, but I can return fire. If I go to point, I'm limiting the number of options that I go to. So at some point, you're going to have to go to robot, but in the meantime, let's try and get some space first.
All right.
Any other questions with this map?
I guess not. Like maybe more towards first checkpoint. The fight seems a little weird.
Yeah.
I mean, possible flanks. Like those stairs just seem never good to take.
Like here?
No. I mean like if you go back, it's like on the robot's path a little.
Oh, like this here?
Yeah, those stairs just seem never good to take for defense or offense.
Well, it's just very naked, right? It's very open. So, you can push a little here, but you got to be cautious. A lot of it's just going to be about, like for Zarya, leveraging cart. And frankly, I think you can rocket jump this up to here, right? So you could even kind of park yourself here. I would try that out. I think you might be able to. And
maybe
park
with
yourself here. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I swear you should be able to. Let me try really fast. But yeah, I would park myself here and just try to, there's nothing that can really shoot me that I can't also shoot. That's the rule of Zarya, right? And really just tank in general. It's just that Zarya's here, let's save ourselves some time. Well, actually it's not gonna be fair here. All right, we gotta try this. I'm actually super curious. In the meantime, any other questions with this map?
Not really. Nothing I can really think of.
All right, this is the moment of truth.
Yeah.
Oh, the glass wouldn't be broken, so I feel like you should be able to. Wait. Oh, no, it shouldn't be slight. There it is.
Oh, wow. I actually didn't know that.
So right here, you've got again, what can shoot me that I can't also shoot, right? Maybe people way over there. I've got cover. I can poke from here. I can poke from here. I can poke from here. I'm limiting the number of angles here, whereas if I'm here, it does feel a little bit more naked. I'm very vulnerable to stuff way over there. I'm very vulnerable to stuff over there. So just basically finding ways to, similar to Colloseo, push cart, don't get poked. Push cart, don't get poked. Wait, one more time. Wait, I think you need to come. Maybe I might just be bad.
Yeah, it seems like you need to come at an angle.
Yeah, wait. I got this. It's the power of friendship here. Okay, maybe not. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna let you wiggle on that one, right? I'm not gonna waste your more time. It's doable for sure. Okay, any other map questions?
Yeah, I got Busan.
Busan.
Specifically Sanctuary. That map is because it feels like you can brawl left side, but then you also need to go point, but then point is just open.
Yeah. So what Busan is if you have a brawl advantage. I'm not gonna roll the RNG dice roll here. I'm gonna actually go for it. What Busan is if you have the brawl advantage, you basically secure one of the better angles on the map for your team. But you are vulnerable on point.
Yeah.
So, like, you can guarantee, hey, I got the right side of the map. Now I have to go to point, and I'm a little bit exposed. But at least my team has the right side. So what tank are you playing in Busan?
Sig Diva.
Okay, Sig Diva. So let's say you roll out here.
Yeah.
You're on Sigma.
Yeah.
They're on Rhine. What do you do?
Play like where you are right now and poke them out.
Sure. But again, not your effective range, right? Very
Yeah.
easy for them to avoid your poke. So here's what you do.
Force
You
point.
get me? Force point. Why? What is this space compared to the here?
Distance, I guess.
Distance. Right.
Yeah.
That's it exactly.
That's
Right.
effective range.
You create an effective range for me while still providing cover versus some other angles, right? That's what you do.
Right. Okay.
Now, what if I roll out on, like, let's say Diva, and they're on Sigma or snipers and they've rotated here? Well, now what I can do is I can then use this position to stage. I can go straight to point and play the high ground and cover on point. What else can I do from here? PGE, right?
Harass the backline, maybe?
Yeah, you can use this position to rotate to here, right? Like, I can actually rotate from here and then rotate from here to here. Yeah, exactly. Basically, I'm on Tracer for a reason here. So, like, you have options. Now, when the fight breaks on point, really important that you utilize cover. And remember how I said in Colloseo, you want you side into a wall. Like, if I'm playing Sigma here, I am not here.
Yeah, no, that's bad.
I'm here. Yeah, right. So you want to be here. Bam, bam, maybe bam if I want to. That's it. Right? Or same thing here. Bam, bam. And I wouldn't pick this one if I'm getting poked by a Widow, right? I'm probably going to rotate to the other side. Or if I am getting poked by a Widow, I'm going to close the distance here. I'm going to move to this corner here, and I'm going to sit right here, right where their cover, where, I can get shot from here, but I've got immense cover. Like, you just need to be super disciplined. Diva is hit or miss on this map, frankly. I would say pretty good at taking the fight in here, because you can play around here. You can also fly up. Can I get this? Yeah. You can fly here. You can wrap around from behind here. Verticality definitely helps. Right around here, right? You can chase around here. And she's also not terrible at fighting on a point. But if you're on Diva and they're poking you from here and here and here,
no, it's so rough.
And you're on point, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Not going to lie with you. So it's just the more open space of things that can make things a little bit trickier.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Any other map questions?
I don't think so. Not right now. I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Chat, what do you think of this turtle? Somebody didn't realize he had glowy eyes. You ever notice that there's just, like, map geometry and things that you just never really pay attention to? Like, I don't think I've ever actually paid attention to what this actually is. It's like a lion or something. Wait, you can actually get up here. Nice, guys. Oh, no. There you go. Look at that. Can I triple blink over there? No, I cannot. Interesting. Educational content, by the way. And the drum here. I never really pay attention much to the drum. Oh, whoa! Check this out.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back. All right. All done with map stuff?
I think so, unless there's like one I'm forgetting that I had in the form.
Let me pull up the form really fast here. Hollywood second.
Oh, yeah, Hollywood. Yeah, I hate that map.
Okay. Now I
Hollywood second specifically.
All right, I'm an idiot. I don't know how to play the game. Tell me how to play Hollywood second from using the information that we talked about here.
Using the information we've talked about.
Because it's very similar in many ways.
Right, of course. Okay, so I mean, if you're playing Sigma, right, you want to play to your own, to your own character's strength, right?
Right.
So you want to play like short, mid, definitely not far range, right? So
too far, right? It's way too far. Yeah,
right,
exactly.
too far. Like that bridge across the buildings. That's too far. Well, you can maybe push it, right? If you have your team with you.
You could.
I mean, if you're forcing Sigma here, right? I mean, you want to take height, but if they're holding it with a Reinhardt, that's just rough, man. Like,
so how do you force the Reinhardt to drop? How do you abuse something? What can you do?
just force cart.
Force cart.
Like,
Force cart. When in doubt, force cart. And
when in doubt,
pressure
force
high ground when it's appropriate, when you have opportunities.
Pressure high ground when it's appropriate.
The biggest bait and these type of maps, just escort period, is people brute forcing high ground over and over and over and over again. And you just can't do it. Like if they're holding here with a Reinhardt, you're not getting high ground. Yeah. You might with a Flux and a Nano, maybe like Nano Flux or something like that. Maybe you could, but it's not happening. It's not happening. So stop trying. So force them to drop, or just get a lot of cart. Because remember, you only have to win one fight. You can force cart here. You can force cart underneath. Again, avoid the spam, avoid the poke, right? Avoid it. Get it to here, right? Like look at how much cover you have from the high grounds if you force cart.
Yeah.
Right? And you're often, if you're playing Sigma, you're going to be one of the better people at forcing cart. Even dive tanks like D.Va, really good at forcing cart. D.Va's a phenomenal cart force because how much HP you have, your mobility, your matrix, and so on.
Right.
You force cart, and then if you have a D.Va bomb, yeet it at high ground, right? If you have a Flux, use that to take high ground. If you get a pick, then we try to take high ground, right?
Right.
If you're nano blading, okay, now we take high ground, and then now when they're walking out of the corners, we have one person on cart and rest everyone else is on high ground. So take the high ground when you get the opportunity to and hold it if you can. Because now they're the ones that are like, oh, frick, like what are we supposed to do now? But it's basically, this is the problem with a lot of these high grounds is they're so oppressive to take, you just don't contest them outside of brief moments or when you have an overwhelming advantage. You just force cart, you force cart, you force cart, you force cart. You strike when you get the opportunity, and then you make them have to push into you. Right,
okay.
It's the same thing with Dorado. It's the same thing with Blizzard World. It's the same thing with all the other stuff that we talked about. But a lot of it is forcing cart. The nice thing is that the way the cart is balanced is that there generally is a decent amount of cover, especially for a character like Sigma, to avoid a lot of poke. So you can kind of let your supports, DPS, do what they want, not demanding a lot of resources. And are you going to get isolated by Winston dropping on you if you're here on Sigma? Maybe.
Yeah.
but like, okay. Yeah. Make him work for it, right? Like make him sweat, right? Like, and you can at least live long enough for maybe like what will happen sometimes is people will drop to contest you, and maybe that's an opportunity for your DPS to take the high ground away from them. I mean, I see this sometimes where somebody will all drop on the Sigma who's pushing cart for free. Cass takes the high ground with high noon, and you win the high ground, even though your Sigma dies, and actually you win the fight. But yeah, there's only so much you can do. Like even if you were playing Winston here, right? It would just be jump on high ground, drop. Jump on high ground, drop. Jump on high ground, drop. You can't force it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense actually, because like I've definitely had moments where like I just face tank the Rhine on Sigma, and just like, all right, we're going up the elevator, let's go. Like,
Yep. It's not good. There's really nothing you can do about it. In fact, it's like one of the this is like people have so much strategy. Like if you watch a lot of professional Overwatch, like there's a lot of strategy about like how to retake and control escort maps and hybrid maps because of stuff like this.
Yeah, I think I've ever seen something about like like a recent match on Hollywood where like everybody was on height, and then like one guy dropped, and then like everybody dropped to take him, and like just like they flipped height.
Yep. There was actually, I mean, because I coached this map a lot during double flex meta, with Onizen and Tracer and stuff like that in the Overwatch League. And it was actually insanely hard to retake this because you couldn't even really force cart because you had your Onizen on like two different angles and a pocketed Tracer shooting whoever was pushing cart. It was miserable. And not to mention, you can imagine how like nano primal defense went here. It was just your backline's dead. Like it's over. Like it's actually over. People would often sometimes just throw a primal rage, a nano primal, just to get the enemy backline, just to get the enemy backline off of high ground so that they could then take it. And then now they become the dislodgeable backline.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a tough time. It was a tough time. It was a fun comp, but it was definitely like pretty brutal defender's advantage. Okay.
Is this map getting changed at any point?
I don't know. Oh. I know that a lot of the escort and hybrid ones, I don't know if this one is. I would say at some point, I think this map kind of sucks. I think this map is like, it's not the worst map ever, but like first point's kind of iffy. I think third point's actually super underrated for being a really bad map. I don't think this first section's too bad, but I mean, how many times does the cart get stalled here?
Yeah.
It happens all the time, even in pro meta, and it's largely due to how inaccessible this high ground is and how awful this choke is for flank, right?
Yeah, no, that is terrible.
But yeah, I think at some point there's a chance, but who knows? I know the guy who does the maps has his hands full. Okay. Any other map questions? I mean, we have like 5 more minutes, so we can take a quick look at a code if you want to.
Yeah. My my shop currency is all loading now. I think they're like mid patch.
Sure. But I'm still in game, surely. So
Right. I guess like one more question for like defense, right? Like if you're
Oh yeah, perfect.
so say the attack side is doing what you just told me, right? We're like, okay, we're all sitting height on defense, right?
Yes.
Now they're just pushing cart. What do I do? Like,
You have to try to find some way to abuse your map control advantage. A lot of people, it's a great question because a lot of people will be like, all right, we have high ground here, let's just stay here. And then they're like hiding underneath you. You cannot do that. You have to rotate your angle. Like let's say you're playing Sigma and you're controlling high here. Or like controlling height with your backline. You don't really want to do that. You want to make sure that you are making an agony every step of the way. They rotate to here, you change your angle to here and you keep spamming. Or maybe you're like, all right, screw cart. I'll trade backlines, you know? But if you're playing like a squishy as well, like you need to try and abuse the fact that you have this entire high ground to play around, find an angle. Find an angle, find a different sightline, find a different spam spot. That's why even when they're playing double flex meta, a lot of times the Ana Zen weren't stacked because you didn't want to be able to hide from both Ana and Zen. You either dealing with Discord or you're dealing with Nade when you're pushing card.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Okay.
Yeah. So for you as a solo tank, you try to kind of create your own angle if you can, just within your own backline switch.
Okay. And then one more question on defense. If the enemy has height.
Yes.
Okay, I guess
retaking through here.
Yeah, so I ran into this situation specifically on Hollywood Third, where I was against a Hog, who just kind of sat third point height, like he walked up the stairs, specifically like this balcony area, this catwalk, or I don't know exactly what it's called. Yeah, this area, and like I think he had a support with him or something like that. He just couldn't be dislodged.
Was this attack or defense? You were on attack or defense?
I was on defense. He was on attack, and he just kind of sat up here.
So he walked through the stairs here and just kind of sat here.
Yeah, he just kind of sat here. I think he killed my soldier as well, which was great for the mental. And they basically got third point for free, and I just sat there like, well, I can't really push a cart.
What tank were you?
I can't contest cart. I don't remember. I was either Czar or Sig. I might have been Monkey. I don't remember.
Yeah, Monkey would be a little bit awkward because you really kind of want to use this high ground for Monkey as Monkey. Yeah. Like that's your playground. But if it's not Monkey, him going high ground is not all that useful.
Right.
It's useful for him initially because he can clear anybody off here. But then once he's here, now what? Like, how is he helping his team progress card? He can't pressure your team from the sight line, from this sight line. The only sight line he can pressure your team is here, and it's a pretty bad one. It's pretty far.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so all you would do is just like, all right. Runs in. Like, if my soldier runs into him, okay, it's fine. Like, he's Hog. Like, he's just going to clear any angle he wants, right? It's the same thing if he was like a Reinhardt, right, or a Ram. He would clear the high ground. There's nothing you can do about that. But then what?
Yeah,
because he still has to deal with this open space, right? And those tanks are not good at that, right? So for you, cart should not be moving if there's a Roadhog on top. Like you should, if cart's here, it should go nowhere.
Well, no, cart was back like near second point cap. Like it was.
Wait,
like he
like all the way here.
Yeah, all the way. Like it hadn't even rounded the corner.
I see.
And he was just so far up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that would be a little bit trickier because then he technically can still be a threat from here, and he can still be a threat
I can't draw
from here, right? To be honest with you, not a whole lot you can do outside of trade backlines, find opportunities for when he's not, because it is a good play. It's a good play. Yeah. He's a nuisance on your backline, and he's positioned himself to be a real distraction. So, you know, that does mean their front line's a little bit more vulnerable. Try to abuse that as best as you can. There isn't really a good option for you there, frankly.
Just let him push.
It's just a good play.
Like try and push him out,
because I don't think you can go back and get to him.
Right.
I don't think you can go back and get to them.
Where I was like near those crates near the choke.
Yeah. Like when I first saw. Yeah, you can't. You can't. You just have to. You just have to trade backlines. Yeah. Now, if you were like, I don't know, Diva, maybe you could kind of like not go for him, but keep an eye on him. You keep an eye on him, right? And Winston would be like, oh, okay, there's no Roadhog on me, so I can just kind of trade backlines for free. But Zarya Sig, not a lot you can do. You can't really get there. So you just kind of like trade backlines, control backlines. I think like if he's there, like he's just there. Now the one thing is he does have to hit a hook to be a threat, right? His poke range
True.
from there isn't that great, so he does have to hit a hook, and it's not even the easiest one shot either. So it is a bit of a high risk, high reward play for him. But yeah, it's just a good angle.
Yeah.
It's not an angle that you can really push him on.
Fire.
Yeah. Congratulations, your nightmare Roadhog in the flank is back.
Yeah. Is Orisa even like viable against him now with the 1 second?
I think it's a reasonable matchup for Orisa still, because it's still like a soft counter. But Orisa as a whole is just such a bad hero that I don't think I would.
I think I've played Orisa like maybe once this season.
Yeah, she's pretty bad. Yeah. She's a little better with the javelin spin cooldown reduction. That definitely was noticeable. But the cooldowns are just so long right now. And then obviously, the fortify slow is just brutal. I think that's like one change I'm not happy about. I think they should have just reduced the damage reduction, or made it you could crit her and fortify again. But like reducing the slow, man, like you just live with fortify now. You can't actually do anything with it. Which is a bummer, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions with map stuff?
I don't think so. I mean, we went over like 8 maps, something like that.
We might have gone over more. Wait, now I'm curious now. So we did Busan, 1, 2, Samoa. I don't think we did any escort. No escort. We did Blizzard World, Hollywood, Midtown, Numbani, Paraíso. We did 9. 9 maps. Wow. There you go. I always love our sessions. Our sessions always have a unique take. It's fun. I either get to coach Orisa, we get to do some live coaching discussion, or we're talking about maps for an hour. That's great.
Yeah.
I
mean, I realized I don't really think about maps that much. I just kind of play wherever it goes. So
yeah, I hope that you're noticing a couple of patterns here. The 2 patterns would be, escort, hybrid, overwhelming, defender's advantage, even push, right? Find a way to focus card if you can. And the other one would be like, find the position that plays to your character's effective range, right? I'm not, when I'm telling you how to play Paraíso and Sigma, frankly, it's not something I've really put a lot of thought into.
Right.
But I do know what effective range Sigma wants to play, and I do know that he needs cover, and so that simplifies things for me. I can kind of plug that formula into the map and see what I get. And so that's what I encourage you to be doing, right? We're talking about like Runasapi and more map reworks. You should be able to plug those 2 things in, whether it's the escort hybrid or like, okay, well, how does a Winston want to play? Like, where does the Sigma want to play? You should be able to plug and play.
Right.
You should be able to plug and play.
Yeah, I realize it's a little towards the end of our session.
That's okay. That's okay.
What about control maps, like, or Koth? Like, I realize that they're by nature, a little bit more brawly, right? I like we went over Samoa a little bit, but then there's also like maps like Ilios Well, where it just feels rough to be on point at all.
It is. It is. Well, that's why Sigma's bad in those maps, right? Yeah, because there's too many ways for the enemy team to close the distance on you.
Right.
I think Ruins is okay. Rough. But but yeah, Li Jing is another one, right? Control center, pretty easy to close the distance in Sigma, right?
Yeah.
It's not.
I don't even try to play Sigma on
bad, right? So you would want to play a tank that's a little bit more comfortable in the closer range sight lanes, generally on control maps. Control map that's why people play Lucio in these maps, because it's the speed is still useful, rotating is very useful, but you could put Lucio, just play DPS Lucio in those maps, and there's so many different ways to approach backline and DPS. It's great. Right. That's why Busan Sanctuary is such an anomaly. It's like, wait, is this escort or King of the Hill? It feels out of place. So I would just the same parameters, right? You're playing Zarya. Okay, you don't have verticality. Look at like the way that we approach New Queen Street. What is the position where I can reach pretty much anything? Okay, if I roll out in control center and they're got a Reinhardt and I'm on Zarya, I'm not going to brute force white. All right.
Right.
But I am going to try to hold that corner, create a little bit of distance, burn a little bit of shield, and then maybe rotate towards point, or wait till they rotate towards point and then take the white away from them, and so on.
Right, okay.
To play your effective range.
What about a Doom on Gardens? Is it Gardens?
Doom on Gardens. I mean, you can try to brute force, like punish the choke. Like Doom isn't terrible at tank trading necessarily, like frontline trading, but like you can also just lean towards the dojo, right? Coast the mega side, right? That little house. Not point side. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. The right side.
Yeah.
The right side with the mega. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You can lean in from there. If they bait you, if they chase you in there, you just leave. Right. You go over the roof, find another roof. You can lean towards point. So Doom is like that short range tank that again can use that mobility to just approach from like a lot of different sidelines, and just constantly harass. You can go for like punches at backline and people knocking people off the map and stuff like that, but a lot of it's just going to depend on what you can do. But there's enough cover there from Dojo and point that you can kind of avoid spam and kind of bait point. Like even think about it this way, like if you really can't reach backline and they're pushing you out of Dojo, just sit on point. They're going to have to match you on point. If they match you on point, they have to close the distance. If they chase you on a point, well, then now you can go Dojo side, right? Like that's kind of like how you use your mobility there. And I think Doomfist is good there too, because you don't need the verticality that Winston does because you have 2 mobility cooldowns. Right. So it's a more flat map, but Doom is probably the best dive tank on flat maps. Well, he and Ball, I would say.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Doom, I'm either popping off or super.
Yeah. Well, he's a bit of feast or famine, I think, with the nature of the characters. I think it's more about like what the enemy team has, right? Like there's like a certain skill matchup. It's like you have to break that wall. Like once you get comfortable playing versus counters, Doom has a really good skill ceiling. But everyone's popping off with Doom until they hit that first time they play versus a Sombra, right? And how do you adjust versus that is like really important. Yeah. This is coming from somebody who played a lot of Orisa as well, so you're like, wait, people can use cooldowns on me?
Yeah. Maybe I put Doom on the shelf. Maybe shove him on an alt. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the Hinder change, I think, helped a little bit. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things happening today, right now. So
I've actually got the patch notes up right now. I haven't looked at it.
Okay, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. I'm gonna have to take a look at them. The worst part about it is every single time this happens, I have to do a coaching session before it. So like, I have to start my stream and do a 30-minute replay review, which is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a Widowmaker duel review, which will be fun. But I'm like, man, I want to yap about these changes, but that's okay. All right, man. Any other questions? No, finish your thoughts. Sorry.
I don't think so. No, I was just gonna say I'm always a little worried scheduling these because I don't know when patches hit. So
no, it's usually fine as long as I have the code pulled up. Like if we were ever to look at a code, if I have it pulled up, it doesn't kick me out. Like if I was in code right now, I could probably go for another 20-30 minutes without being kicked out. Yeah. The replay review I did have to record. But yeah, beyond that, the first 2 sessions are fine.
Nice.
All right, mate. Yeah. Cheers. Good chatting with you as always.